I am happy to announce that QTS is live. You know I am your plug. I have tried to apply for the QTS and I have been able to apply even though I have put Nigeria as my nationality. If you don't know what QTS is or you want to know more about, the route in which you can come to the UK as a teacher, there are different routes and this is just one of the ways. You want to look back at my videos. I've made various videos about how to come to the UK as a teacher, and this is the new route that you can apply under the QTS to be registered to work in the UK. So this application is not as straightforward as it is. That is why I'm going to say you should watch this video to the end, and there are some tips I'm going to be giving you to help your application to be more successful. Okay, I'm going to be taking you through the process, the requirement, the steps, and I'll be giving you a few tips that will help you to land yourself in the UK as a teacher. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you so that we can go through the step-by-step process, so that you don't have any excuse to say, I cannot apply or I don't know how to apply. All your answers will be in this video. Please, I'm begging you, subscribe to this channel if you want anything about Japa, like anything about traveling, anything about immigration, anything, no tips, tricks, and processes. This is the channel for you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and please follow me on Facebook. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's get into the video. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you to make you understand better. The first thing you want to check is your eligibility to apply. You want to check if you're eligible, and you should know if you are going to be eligible at least from the list of countries that are allowed, that have just been added to the eligible countries, apart from the already existing countries and the two countries I told you in my previous video that were removed. Now, when you go to check your eligibility to apply for qualified teacher status in England. So these are just, there are other routes, just explaining to you that there are other routes in which you can apply. But let's just go straight to start now. When we go to start now, check your eligibility to apply for qualified teacher status in England. Have you used the service before? Let's just say no. If you've done it before, you can say yes, and then it will continue where your application stopped. But let's say no for us who are just starting. Now I need to check if I can apply, and then you continue. Then they will ask you, which country are you from? I am from Nigeria. So let's put Nigeria, you see, and here you go, continue. Do you have a teaching qualification that was completed in Nigeria? We should say yes. And if you want more detail, you can pause the screen, or even when you log in, you'll be able to read more on how to do it. Do you have a university degree? You need to have a university degree. Let me show you why we ask this question. Teaching is a graduate level profession in England, which means you must be able to show that you've completed a university degree. That means if you have HND, OND, I am sorry, right now you cannot apply. You have to have a degree, that is BSc. You have to have a BSc qualification to be able to apply for this teacher's route. A teaching qualification that was completed in Nigeria, yes, continue. And then you need to have a university degree. Let's say yes, I have a degree. Are you qualified to teach children ages 11 to 16? Sometimes you'll see they will say 5 to 16, but let's just go with 11 to 16, and you should make sure that you're qualified to teach children, at least children in secondary school, for you to be eligible to apply. Say continue. Does your teaching qualification or university degree qualify you to teach one of the following subjects? So if you have the qualification to teach one of the following subjects, you need to upload your certificate along with a transcript. That means you cannot make it up. That shows all the modules you studied and the scores you achieved. So you have to at least try to do your best when you're in school, and you should have at least passed properly. And if you're qualified to teach, or you've done math, science, biology, chemistry, physics, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Latin, Mandarin, Russian, and Spanish. So let's just say yes, because we want to go ahead. How long have you been employed as a recognized teacher? So let's just say that more than 20 months. And then how to calculate your work experience, you can go and read further. I don't want this video to be too long. So let's say continue. Do you have any sanction or restriction on your employment record? That means if your country has sanctioned you, they've seized your license, you've committed a crime, or you've done something that disqualify you from being a teacher, or that is like a bit of comma on your license, you let's just say no. and then we'll continue. So it says, yay, you're eligible to apply for qualified teacher status in England based on the information I have provided. So it will be specific to you. Now, we'll go to proof of the things that we'll need. Please remember, QTS have said they do not give visa, they do not give job, but they will help you to be licensed. And once you're registered with QTS, you're licensed with QTS, you can then use it to apply for job, and you have a higher chance of getting a job. Once you get your job, you'll be able to get your certificate of sponsorship, or you'll be able to get yourself to apply for the visa that will bring you to the UK. So that is how it works. Okay, so they'll now ask you I will now tell you what you need. So if you go to proof of identity, you must provide one of the following: your passport, they must not have expired. You should have at least 6 months on your passport, your birth certificate, that's if you have it, or your age declaration, your national ID card that shows your date of birth, or it must not have expired. And then if you have changed your name, you have to show proof that you've changed your name, maybe because you're married, or because whatever reason why you've done name change. You have to be able to attach such documents to show that you are still the same person. And then you must hold a teaching qualification that equivalent to a UK level 6 or higher. You have to make sure that your education, by the time you have your BSc, I think your teaching education in BSc, I think you'll be good to go. If that qualification is equivalent to level 6 but is not a degree, you must also be able to provide evidence that you hold a separate degree. Do you understand? If you have a teaching qualification, let's say you've done your HND or your OND, as a teacher, you should be able to prove that you have BSc in any other course. Maybe I don't know what it's going to be. Some people will go and do OND, HND teaching, and then they will go and do another thing, but have BSc. You must still make sure you have your BSc, okay? So you can still apply. For any qualification you submit, you need to prove a certificate, a transcript. Okay, and then they explain what a transcript is. We cannot accept National Certificate in Education, NCE, or the Teacher's Certificate Grade 2 from Nigeria, as those do not meet the required level. We can only accept application from teachers who are qualified to teach children ages 11 to 16 in one of the following subjects. I've listed these subjects before. You will need to provide evidence that either your teaching qualification specifically shows you can teach one of the subjects, or at least 50% of your university degree was in one of these. And now you need to prove English. I've got loads of questions where everybody thinks because Nigeria speaks English or because Africa speaks English, we are eligible to not do IELTS. I'm not saying you must do IELTS, but I'm saying you have to be able to prove that you speak English through the following ways. There are 4 ways to prove your English language. Either if you're born from one of these countries, which none of the African countries are listed. If you're from one of these countries, you're going to be eligible. But if not, you need to provide your passport or other identification documents. If you're from one of these countries, you need to show that you're really from one of these countries by providing your passport or your document. If you study in an exempt country, there are some countries that do not need to provide evidence of English. If you study in a country that is not exempt, if your teaching qualification or university degree was taught exclusively in the English language, you can upload an official document, which is sometimes called a medium of instruction. So you get this medium of instruction from your school. Sometimes I've heard people who were able to get this letter from school. If you can get it to say all your courses, of course, all our courses were taught in English, you will be able to apply. You will not have to write English exam, except for visa. Visa may still require you to get, even if it's band 4 in English most times, but you may be able to do away with writing English exam if you can provide medium of instruction. You can request this from the institution where you studied. Okay, provide an appropriate English language certificate. If you cannot get this, you will then need to provide either IELTS, and all these other exams or certificates that that is on your screen, and then find a approved provider if you need to get English language certificates. That means if you're going to require taking English exam, make sure it's from UK approved centers, because I heard that some time ago in Nigeria, because of some stuff that were going on, some centers were discontinued. But please check to make sure that the center you're applying true, is eligible. Prove that you're recognized as a teacher. You have to you need to provide letter of professional standing from the Teaching Regulation Council of Nigeria, that's the TRCN. You should request it by email. This is the email that you will request the TRCN. This is the TRCN email. You need to request this professional standing letter from TRCN. It is not TRCN that will now send it. You cannot send this document yourself. Instead, you must contact the Teaching Registration Council of Nigeria, that's TRCN, and ask them to send it directly to us at, look at the email, apply QTS verification, blah blah blah. I'm going to leave it on the screen as well, but the link is here. You can just click it. Make sure you get this letter before you submit your final application, because if you submit your final application, you will not be able to go back. But before you can apply for this letter, you need to have started your QTS application. Do you understand? Because you need a code. You need your QTS code, your application code, to say that you've already started your application. But don't go to final submission, otherwise you cannot go back. And your document was able to confirm that you are a teacher. Your transcript must show, and the age range in which you taught. Every information is here. You'll be required to pay 60,000 naira if you're in Nigeria. If you're in your country, once you put your country, your information that you need will be detailed under each country. It's because I've used Nigeria, that is why this information is displaying as Nigeria. I hope you understand. It's not like this is not applicable to everybody. Depend on the country you're applying from. And then proof of work history. You have to be able to prove that you've worked. You need to show you've been employed as a teacher in a school for 1 UK school year, 9 months of active teaching time. So 1 calendar year or more. From any country that you're applying for, you need to provide the name and email of his contact who can confirm this, that during your professional work experience you worked unsupervised with children age 5 and 16. Sometimes they will say 5, sometimes they will say 7. Sometimes the ages are just ranging, but I will say 5 to 16, where solely responsible for planning, preparing, delivering lessons to at least 4 students at a time. So it's not like a private tutor. You have to have been a real teacher teaching group of students, and we're solely responsible for assessing and reporting on the progress of those students. That is why I said you want to watch this video towards the end, where you can know what you need. Make sure you get all this, okay? And if your documents are not translated in English, you want to make sure everything, because this is an English speaking country, they're not going to translate your document on your behalf, okay? If your documents are not written in English, make sure everything is translated, signed, attested. Make sure it's like legit. And then once you've gotten all these documents ready, you've gotten all these things ready, you just go to apply. You apply, and that is you on your way to getting your teacher's license in the UK. Once you've gotten this phase over with, the next thing will be for you to look for a job. Once you've gotten a job, you can then apply for visa. And once you've applied for visa, you can then come to the UK. Look, all these processes are almost the same, even for nurses, for pharmacists, for microbiologists. These are still the route. Especially if your body needs registration, you will 80% out of 100 have to go through your registration body to get licensed, to get registered, before you can then look for job and then apply to come to the UK. So this is a very good news, and this is an good update actually, with very, very good detail. I want you to go through these and get all your credentials, all your documents. Start applying. Even if you plan on coming to the UK next year, start applying now, because you don't know how long this process will take, especially with your school. Yes, please remember to subscribe to this channel, because I'll be bringing it to you hot. As they drop, I'll be bringing it to you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it to your friends, your enemy, your neighbors, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please press the follow button on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video, and stay tuned for more updates. I'll see you later. Good luck in all your endeavor. Bye.